are live. Music is a little loud in my ear, so let me bring it down a little bit for me. There we go. What did you do? You sometimes do not smart things. Oh gosh, I don't like this panda hat for streaming, but this is what I've got. Hello, Mortex, my VIP, my most VIP of VIPs. Fix it. Fix a little bit. Made people with bigger heads than me. Are we sounding good? We're not skipping. We're not pausing. It's very possible that our problems were related to overtaxing some things. Also, OBS did have an update, so I'm wondering if something was going on behind the scenes there with multi-streaming. But hello, bamboozers. I haven't used that term in a while, but welcome back. We are, yay, Harper. Okay, so it's not just people. As you can see, we actually have a chat. At least we have the Twitch chat. You will not be able to see anyone who's on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Seeming that it's looking good over there as well, according to my testers. We will not be able to see YouTube chat. I will be able to see it though, and I will be able to respond. But thank you for joining me on this kind of offbeat Wednesday. I know my streaming schedule once again has been utter chaos because of work, because of travel. That's just going to keep on going. Life is what it is. I've also had shows. You know what? I'm a very busy panda, and I do love to stream when I can, and when the technology works with me, that's even better. Um, like I can hear music. I know music is happening. Okay, it's our adventure music, courtesy of my fantastic producer, as always, Anthony Vito, aka many names. Uh, so yeah, tonight we're having a pretty special time. Hey, not good, Molly. Good to have you. Am I a professional pirate? I will neither confirm nor deny the rumors. Uh, but I am excited for this because I haven't really talked RPGs in a while. Who has the time to play tabletop RPGs nowadays? I certainly don't. So when the head of one of the heads of the DragonCon Performing Arts unofficial, we always have to say that they're unofficial. The unofficial track reached out to me and asked me, hey, do I know anyone who could potentially work with the gaming track for TTRPG, a tabletop RPG? For those of us who may be joining us, I'm going to be talking through a couple of things. I'll assume that you're new here. Like, if you're used to all this, awesome. If you're not, look, that's part of what I'm doing here. Part of the reason I'm kind of practicing with you all, because because this is going to be a one-shot campaign at DragonCon, I offered to run a one-shot. Well, I'm so glad I chose 7C. We will talk more about 7C. I love tabletop RPGs. I love tabletop RPGs in particular that are not Dungeons and Dragons. And that doesn't mean that I don't love a good D20 system. I do. I enjoy Dungeons and Dragons. Everyone kind of knows how to play it. It is the granddaddy of RPGs, and you're always going to have to respect that. I enjoy many other systems, and one of the reasons when it was brought up to me, the idea of doing a tabletop RPG, and I said, well, I'll do it. Um, 7C is the system that immediately came to mind for me. Because 7C is a very rule of cool system, it is a very dramatic system. The idea of being dramatic and creating a good scene. Oh, that's cool. Hey, if you ever want to join in and join forces and walk through an RPG together, I'm your gal, Panda. Uh, but yeah, 7C is, while obviously there are rules, there's always rules because you need to have enough rules to make sure that that you are consistent, that you're not necessarily, the GM is not necessarily playing favorites, that there is the players can rely on certain things. But 7C is very much a role play system as opposed to a role play system. But it is also very, very easy to learn. It's one of those very easy to learn lifetime to master systems. And I very specifically went with the first edition roll and keep system. 7C has two editions. One is the first edition roll and keep that old, I came out in 2000, something like that. I'm not sure. Maybe even a little bit before that. Um, that was it's a D10 based system, and it's a little bit reminiscent of White Wolf, only it's more about adding up numbers than rolling successes. Like White Wolf 2. um, and it's really about kind of customizing your character and, having, I would like to think, a GM who is interested in the drama, interested in, once again, creating that scene with you, creating that rule of cool, and building that trust that if the GM is working against you just a little bit, it's because they want to push you to be that much more dramatic. Um, and I really kind of cut my teeth on being a GM in this system and in another system called Deadlands, and Deadlands is even more complicated. Yeah, 7C is very much, as you can kind of guess from the picture on the screen right now, it's kind of based on this, or at least the initial concept was this idea of swashbuckling adventures, of pirates and swords and sorcery and all this other kind of stuff. And what they ended up doing to create the world, I'm going to talk about the world a little bit more before I get into the mechanics, because the world carries across both versions of 7C, the first and second. Oh yeah, so you're when you talk about moonshine, this is going to be very, very similar, except a little bit more math. um, so what you're going to have here in the 7C world is there, like, while it kind of invokes pirates, what it is, it's a very loosey-goosey combination of some of the most interesting times in European history set in an alternate universe where forms of magic exist. Um, so you have Louis XVI, slightly pre-French Revolutionary War France, called Montaigne, living alongside an Elizabethan, very, like I said, very Shakespearean, very um, fairies and mythical creatures and whatnot version of Avalon, of England, the Triple Kingdoms. And you also have the Restoration era Dutch with the Vikings, the Medici era Italy, Vadaci, with all of this other kind of stuff. Very, very like, I'm the Zorro-esque Spain. Even though I know Zorro's not necessarily Spain, but that whole vibe existing alongside all of that. Plus, that kind of Pirates of the Caribbean vibe of the pirate nations existing. One of the big things that has not happened in this version of this alternate universe is while we do have a version of the Caribbean, there is no version of the New World. There is no version of the Americas, at least in the first edition. The second edition, they brought it in. Um, on the second edition. I know some people are back converting to the first edition because they like a lot of the stuff in there. Um, and it's just really cool. And it's like if you want to play something with this kind of flair. Oh, and there is Russia. There is like I forget the era of Russia. It's not coming to me. Is Ivan the Terrible? Catherine the Great? Something like that. I don't play Usura very often. I apologize. And it has been a moment since I've run this myself. So I'm also refamiliarizing myself as I write this campaign of what goes where. But for all of these reasons, and because the she exists, and because while there is no a direct allegory to Shakespeare, I think in the 7th universe there might be an NPC in the Avalon book. I'm not quite sure. This seemed like a really good setting to put something called, as you can probably guess, placed the thing, a campaign based around the idea. The hook is, and this is not a secret, I think anyone who signed up, by the way, my session is completely booked. I don't know if there's any kind of wait list, but all 6 seats of my campaign have sold. I'm very flattered. If you happen to be here and one of the people, shout out, thank you for joining in with me. I'll try to make it the best 4 hours that we can have. Yeah, the hook of this is that this is a troupe of wandering players who find themselves hired to put on a play by a eccentric Vendel merchant prince. They don't really have princes in Vendel, and I considered making him a Vadachi prince, but you can't get away from the Danish when you're doing something like this. So he is Vendel, and I will be, doing my best to create kind of a loosey-goosey campaign around the events of Hamlet, but while still giving my players, hey, if they want to go completely rogue and do something else entirely, awesome. If they want to be the players from Hamlet, that's also cool. If they say, screw you, we want to be Vikings, I guess they're Vikings now. But I hope that my hook will be interesting enough that they will rather play havoc in Shakespeare than run off and decide to drink in Castile. uh, so so we've got this beautiful art that I've started here with because I didn't want to scare anyone who came in with the most exciting thing that we'll be doing this evening, a PDF and a spreadsheet. Give me just a moment. What we're going to be doing today to kind of give everyone an idea of the rules and the flavor, and if you have questions about anything, please, 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 please ask. I will break bad. I will. Oh no! Why aren't you? Give me just 1 second. I gotta get stuff next to each other. Oh, okay, so I gotta move this over. Excuse me while I get my house in order. Like I said, a spreadsheet, the most exciting thing you've got. But honestly, this is both the most and the least exciting piece of any campaign, in my opinion. You've got the you've got the character creation. Now, of course, if this was a campaign, if I had players going with me, we would be taking the time to create characters. They would choose who they want to be, and they would be able to lead into that. Because this is a one shot, I am creating characters for everyone. Oh no, it's real. It is fun. It's fun. It's one of the ways actually you become familiar with the mechanics of a system. Um, and I've made characters, and they've been starting characters, and I'll go through and I'll be like, hey, can I use this in your campaign? Um, but because this is a one-shot campaign, obviously I am going to be creating characters that are of the appropriate theme for the campaign. So every one of these characters is going to be a member of the Tempest Troop. I've already made one. He is the Ison stagehand, Ison being the Germans of this setting. He is rough and a little shady, but he can kick some butt and take some names, and he's a little stoic. But this is going to be the director, and I'm keeping the character name blank. I will let my players name their characters. I don't see any reason not to. I am giving a couple of tweaks here and there. Once again, this is a one-shot. I want people to have fun, so they're going to be a little bit more powerful than starting characters, but we're going to start with a starting character. Now, normally, let's take a quick look at this character generator, which I love it. I managed to find this the other day. This is a character generator. It is not the character sheet. Actually, let me see if I can find a character sheet over here, because I do have some printed out when I was doing this a bit more manually. This is the character sheet. This is what you're going to find in the booklet. And you'll see there's all kinds of stuff. We're going to take it one at a time. One of the first things I'm doing, don't worry about those, is I'm noting this as a starting character. Once I'm done with it, I will add some more stuff. But like I said, kind of starting. One of the things that I have done is I have started my hero with 110 hero points. Normally, the hero has a 100-point buy. One of my house rules, one of the things that I like to do when I am doing 7C is, well, let me step back for a second. One of the things you're going to be able to choose as a 7C character is whether or not your character has what they call a virtue or a hubris, right? Virtues being heroic qualities, hubrises being heroic flaws. Now, normally in the rules of the game, with the 100-point buy, a virtue costs 10 points, a hubris gives you 10 points. So if you want to have, or you can choose neither and just start with your 100 points. I don't like that. I think that virtue should be free. I think that you're a hero. I think that if you want to be heroic and you want to have a virtue, you should have one, and it shouldn't impact all of the other stuff you get to play with. And if you choose a hubris, you still get those 10 points. Don't you worry, because hubrises are how I screw you over. But if you want a virtue, I'm not going to penalize my players for wanting to be that little extra heroic, for wanting to be something a little bit better than a standard person in the world. Yes, exactly. Having a virtue makes your character larger than life. So, So you said this is going to be the bill for the director of the Tempest Troop. I can't help but notice that like I've got dropped out. Like I said, I found this earlier today, and I cannot find. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to drop down here, but um. So the nationality is Avalon. Avalon is the residents of the Triple Kingdoms. They are the analogous to England, Ireland, and Scotland specifically. Um, they are the She Isles, with the exception of the. I have blanked on what the Scottish area is called. They don't like the She over there. They've got Innismore, Avalon, and I forget what the third one is. Highland Marches, excuse me. So, right, so we're going to start going through here, and we're just going to scroll through. One of the things that I am going to do for these characters, and I'm going to do today, is create a pretty basic sorcery character. Uh, the director of the Tempest Troop is going to have a little bit of glamour sorcery. Just be a tiny bit noble, because why not? We're going to do some quick run-throughs of what Avalon is. And let's see. The nations here. Avalon, grand and enchanted. The union of the three kingdoms have risen to the forefront of Thayan politics. We're not going to touch on secret societies. That's very complicated. Wounds and dice, we're not going to worry about that. We're not going to worry about the actual playing rules. We're going to focus on the character creation rules. And then we'll talk a little bit about how, as we build, how each of these impact what we're doing here. So said. All characters are created from a base of 100 hero points. In my case, I'm starting with 110 because I'm giving I'm giving people a free virtue. Country of origin, we are starting with Avalon, which is akin, as said, to Ireland and Scotland. Here are the other ones and these are the base. These are the base countries. In addition to these later versions of the book, this is actually a player-made quick compendium. And this is all of the base countries, not including the pirate nations. Which you can choose pirate nations, I think, as an origin, but that functions a little differently. But there are later books did introduce the Crescent Empire, which is the Middle East, and Cathay, which is the Far East. There are feelings around those. Crescent Empire got a little, these characters are a little bit more powerful than the ones from the base countries, and then someone who really, really had a thing for the Far East and anime put together Cathay. There's crazy things in Cathay. And I believe that Cathay was replaced in second edition with Katai, but I'm not entirely certain. I am way less versed in second edition because I really haven't played it, even though I own every single one of the books in hardback. Long story there. I kickstarted the second edition. Spent way too much money on books that I never use. So first one. We did first step. We are going to decide that whether or not the character is a sorcerer, and the answer for this is going to be yes. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna start actually with the. You know what? It's giving me a good. I'm going to jump around a little bit. I'm going to jump around a little based on this character sheet. So I'm going to say the character is a noble. And then I'm going to give me one moment. And then we're going to go back and forth between these two windows. I don't know why. Ooh, I don't know what's happening there. Hold up. Reef Hitchens room. Okay, thanks for letting me know. Hopefully, that will not. Okay, something popped up for me too, but it seems as though it has resolved itself. All right, so I'm gonna jump around a little bit based on where, based on the character sheet itself. Sometimes these things don't always come in the best. So we are choosing the Avalonian. The character is a noble. That is important. That, as you can see, my hero points went down. I have a remaining 10 hero points. We are going to select a region of Avalon because that does impact other things. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a very basic hero, and then I'm going to tweak it later. Where is the advantages? Avalonian accent. Where's Avalon? Where are you, Avalon? Alternate heroes, drama dice, creating heroes, reputation, determining the families, the noble families, the nationalities. Hero. Give me one moment. I'm sorry. Avalonian accent. Okay, so that's going to be on page 63. Man, I don't know. I feel like I should do Destiny spread first. Sorry, obviously when I did this by myself the other day, I was able to go back and forth between things a lot easier. Hold on. Let me take a look at yes, we're going to use a Destiny spread. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do my Destiny spread first. I'm going to be doing my Destiny spread first. Yes. Because Destiny spreads can give you freebies, which is one of the reasons you want to do them. Because Destiny spreads can affect how you decide to do the rest of your thing. Okay, so that's where I was looking for. Nope, those are swordsman schools. Damn it! If I had been smart, I would have written down where I could find things. I did not. Fuego dentro. Okay, so we're gonna start with the Arcana. This is easy to start with. Okay, I found it. So, and for funsies, as you can see next. Oh no, you can't see that. Okay, so we're going to start with Arcana. And one of the fun things with Arcana, and one of the fun things with this kind of characterization, one of the reasons I like Destiny spreads in general, is that the sorcery of Vodacci is sorte. It only is passed down through women. Men do not have sorcery in Vodacci, considered to be most likely a deal gone wrong with a powerful entity. Yes, but the women have sorte, which is uh, magic that allows them to see the future, and one of the or pull on the threads of fate. And one of the ways they do that is via a sorte deck, which of course is your standard tarot deck. Now, all virtues and hubrises. Oh, and I intended to actually give this guy a hubris because the head of the theater company obviously needs to have a hubris, right? Um, there's a reason they're in the mess that they're in when they get started, and why they have to take this play, otherwise they are in a lot of trouble. I don't want to give the entire hook away. So we're going to go to, but you can see some examples of virtues here, which in order to use a virtue, it notes at the top, you get you use your virtue by paying a drama dice. And I haven't talked about the dice yet, but drama dice are special D10s that you are awarded, that you start the game with for just a little bit of drama based on one of your lowest traits. But the GM can continue to give you if you do fun and cool things. There are other mechanics that can give you temporary drama dice that can be used on specific rolls, but drama dice in general are earned through being a super cool badass. Making the GM laugh, making the GM go, what? Those are really good ways to get things. So for example, commanding is a good one. You exude confidence and composure. This has a tendency to unnerve your opponents, so they know something you don't. So you may activate your virtue to gain a fear rating of 1 for one scene. Fear ratings create dice penalties, so that the people attempting to act against you have a harder time doing it. Self-controlled. This one allows you, because the repartee system is a system of intimidation, of bluff, of all this kind of stuff, of all of the witty court banter as part of repartee. You can spend a die to say, none of that works on me. You can't fool me. You can't trick me. You can't influence me. I am always in control of myself. My emotions do not control me. This one's a fun one for the GM. This one is, hey, this is one where you have to trust your GM. For example, you don't. It doesn't cost you anything to activate. You can't activate it. Your GM activates. But so if you're getting way off track and you're losing the plot, but you're trying to stay on plot, the GM will guide you in the right direction. And the GM does have to tell you that the virtue is being activated, so you have the opportunity to say no, because you can choose to take the extra 2 experience points. So you can always get 2 extra experience points, or you can just kind of know when stuff is happening. I had a character once in a long-running campaign that had Willful. He was against a villain and spent that drama die, and they were on and he had a leg up the entire rest of the thing because he could spend drama dice and the villain could not. Because villains get drama dice too. Or any NPC. Usually it's going to be a villain. But you know, technically a hero could attempt to use drama dice against you as well. This is almost a slightly more like you knew that you were going to be in a duel with someone, and you know that they have a swordsman knack that allows them to tag, which gives them a temporary drama die to use against you to add to their rolls. You can spend that. Tagging does absolutely nothing from that point forward. So the good thing about the spreads like this, and when you're using the cards and when you're using the fate spreads and the destiny spreads, is that you can either, and I do this as a GM. I'm like, well, you can either go ahead and go through and choose what you want, or you can literally let fate guide you. I see no problem with either thing. If you let fate guide you, then maybe you find things that you didn't know that you would like about your character. Maybe you have no idea what kind of character you want, and letting the destiny spread guide you gives you an idea of what to do. Hubrises. They talk about flaws here. Flaws is a house rule that was created for this compendium. It does not exist in the official rules. I tend to not use them. I like hubrises and backgrounds in a way of being your only potential flaws. So, but they are hubrises. They are heroic flaws. They are the things that get in the way of you being the full version of the hero that you're supposed to be. And how this works, when you have a hubris, while you, as a player, activate your virtue, your GM activates your hubris. Now, when the GM activates the hubris, that is one way you get a drama die. Or no. Role-playing them gives you drama. Oh, I'm sorry. Role-playing them gives you drama dice if you choose to basically activate your own hubris to make your own life more difficult. The GM will often give you a drama die. However, the GM can spend one of their own drama dice, because GM have drama dice too, to activate your hubris, and you would have to spend another drama die to counteract. But the GM can continue to spend. You can lose all of your drama dice that way if the GM is really intent on activating your hubris. So, usually if the GM wants to activate your hubris, once again, that's part of the back and forth with the GM and the dramatic nature of this game. It's trusting your director in a way. If you're going to think of it being a dramatic situation, if you want to think about your GM being kind of a very loose director, you got to trust them. You got to trust their instincts, and that they're doing this to give you a chance to be more heroic. So here are some examples of the flaws or hubrises. Ambitious. You crave power. So if you think that there is an opportunity for you to, say, join forces with a noble that you know you shouldn't be joining forces with because you think you can come out on top, that's an opportunity for the GM to activate your hubris, or for you to activate your hubris, even though you know you probably shouldn't. Arrogant. Jeremiah Barrack, one of the greatest heroes in all of Thea, shows up, and you decide that you're going to challenge him to a duel because you believe that you can beat him and tell everyone. Yeah, no. Cowardly, envious, greedy. So a lot of these are pretty obvious. Loyal is always a fun one. I've had a character with the loyal hubris. I was playing the group's doctor, and we had an NPC who was injured, and we probably should have left him behind, and they insisted that we leave him behind. And nope. Had to keep him going. Overconfident, overzealous. Proud, rash, reckless, righteous, star-crossed, stubborn, and trusting, man. Trusting gets me in a lot of trouble. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, at random, pull. As you can see, every single one of those has a major arcana next to it. I'm going to pull from the deck at random what the director's hubris is going to be. And the hubris is... Oh no, it's death. Reckless! Okay. So our director is reckless, which means you lack the emotion of fear. Unfortunately, it is often an important cue that keeps men from doing foolhardy things. Sure, you don't flinch at the sight of even the most hideous monster, but neither do you feel the need to run away when outclassed. Your GM can activate your hubris in order to get you to ignore any nagging feelings of worry or hesitation you may have when confronted with a potentially dangerous environment. All right, so... So we have a weakness, hubris, it is reckless. All right. Why can I not find the Avalonian regions? Give me 1 second. I want to find sorcery, heroes, dice, creating heroes, finishing touches, arcana, basics, nationality. I don't know why Avalon is not here in the nationality. Let's go to page 18 and see what's happening here. All right. I'm not seeing any more issues on my end, but please let me know. So these are the noble families of the various nations, which is fine. Avalon doesn't necessarily have noble families. All right, well, let's do the quick destiny spread for Avalon. Avalon, once again, we are going to be going to the decks. Let me see. Avalon requires cups and staves, because that is passion and romance. So I should say passion and loyalty. So normally what you do for your destiny spread is you choose your past, present, and future. For this character, I'm only going to be choosing the past, and the present. Future would be something I would look into if this was a long-running campaign. Future basically gives what they call a background. Background is a way for a character to earn additional experience points by resolving a story thread. And future is basically a way for the GM to try to build something for that particular character, or to weave stories together between characters. You can take a look. All right. If something really doesn't fit because of the campaign and the nature of the campaign, I will discard it. All right, so for the past, our first card is going to be the Ten of Cups. Your youth was a fairy tale of perfect happiness, loving parents, adoring siblings, everything. You know what? I don't like that for the director. If this was the actor, I would take it. But no, I don't. I don't love that for the director. Reckless and that seems like a terrible combination. One more. So that was the mulligan. This one is the Four of Cups. This one I'll take whatever it is. Oh no, this is terrible too for this character. All right, one more mulligan. After this, I have to choose between one of the three. The Ten of Cups could be interesting at least. And I do allow mulligans if people really hate it. Okay, Three of Wands. Three of Wands. Or staves, whatever you want to call it. Why have we got these religious ones? Been recently ordained. No, I don't like that. All right. So, in your youth, you learned all about the seas, how to appease them, but a quick mind, also a traveling priest. The glories of Zeus and all for you. But that's another thing. Basically, the um, Church of England, the Catholic Church, and Protestantism, like Martin Luther Protestantism, all exist in this setting. The Church of England incorporates a reverence for the She, who are very, very real presence. I feel like there's got to be one in here. Not to think that any of these are particularly wonderful for. All right, so I think we're gonna go with the Ten of Cups. Randomness get in the way of glory, correct. But yeah, so that's the religious thing that we're talking a little bit about here is that the the Avalonian Church believes in Zeus, God, the singular, the Almighty, but also said incorporates some of what people might consider a little bit more paganism. The She are a very, very real presence. They exist. No one can say that they don't exist. Mad Jack O'Bannon, the head of the King of Innismore, was kidnapped by the She, and he is quite mad. Quite mad. People are kidnapped and brought back. People have magic. Glamour magic is an extension of the She's abilities, so you can't get away from them. The Vatican Church is Catholicism. It's Catholicism that allows women to be priests. That's the best way to describe it. And then objectivism is the Protestant Reformation. The War of the Cross was fought in Iceland, so you can see the parallel there over that particular religious split, with some of them staying loyal to the Vatican Church and some of them becoming objectivists. So let's go with the Ten of Cups. Your youth was a fairy tale of perfect happiness. So maybe that's why he or she is reckless. So they get a 5-point appearance advantage. Okay. So they're very, very, very good looking. So. Oh. I don't know how this works. Hold on one second. Let me see if they've got something around here on the Destiny spread. Okay, stuff been added. Okay. Nope. Okay. I will just make a note. I'll just have to make a note to myself. About the... Okay. 10 cups advantage, so... But that means that appearance advantage is free, so they're going to get that. One of the reasons you want to do that. Right, so that was their past, and let's take a look at their present. All right. Oh, that's not a valid thing to pull. I didn't take out the kings, queens, and pages, and knights. Nope. Okay, I keep pulling kings and queens and knights. The Two of Wands. Oh, this is actually really, really cool. This is good for the artistic director, or for the director. You recently were surprised by an unseelie she known as Jimmy Squarefoot. You remained calm, unfortunately for him, and actually tricked him by promising him fortunes untold. News of your triumph has gotten around. This actually really, between this and being super duper good looking, this is a character that I think I can give someone some background on. All right. So reputation is one of those things that I quasi house rule to help, get see if people know who you are. You also get reputation dice, which allow you to add to your social roles of all kinds. So that will be the 2 staves. And then if we had a future going, I would choose one of these, and you could see here that it's definitely more of your fortune, and this is a background that your GM would attempt to put into the story. All right. So we are now taking a look here. So I don't know what I need to put here. There's really no guidance. And since the drop down is not... Double check that there's nothing here. Shipbuilder, that's fun. Chapter, front, mid, end. Those allow you to help eventually print it out. Swordsman School Customizer, string. I'll need to look through the spreadsheet and see if I can... Yeah, but I mean, it's just cool that this exists, so I'm just happy I can figure out how to do anything else later. So, the next thing we're going to take a look at is your trait. Now, your traits are some of the most important things that you're going to use as a 7th character. The name of this system is Roll and Keep. your traits plus your skills and knacks in those skills, we'll get to skills and knacks in a minute, determine a pool of dice that you roll. Always d10s, only d10s. If you're rolling something other than d10, something has gone terribly wrong, you're in the middle of an explosion. Your, like I said, the knacks plus your the traits plus your skills help determine what it is the pool of dice you're going to roll. Your traits, these right here, determine what you're going to keep. So say that I am climbing up a cliff. You know, this is 17. I'm in the middle of a sword fight, right? I've got my rapier out. I'm swashbuckling away. I've got 2 points in finesse, and I've got 2 points in attack rapier, right? I do my little stab. I ask the GM, what is it to hit my target? The GM looks at the character that you're fighting, says, it's going to be a 15 to hit them. You go, cool. So you take your 2 dice from finesse, your 2 dice from attacking rapier or attack fencing. You jiggle them up in your hands. You roll them. And so out of those 4 dice, you're going to keep 2 because you have 2 finesse. If you had 3 finesse and 2 in fencing, you'd roll 5 dice and keep 3. You always keep the number of dice equal to your trait rank. So obviously, as you have more dice, the easier it is, or more dice in your traits, the easier it is to make target numbers. Because less dice you're throwing away less dice. And you'll notice here that Resolve, you start with everything at rank 1, and Resolve is automatically a rank 2. That is because we have chosen Avalonian. They get an extra point in Resolve just for being Avalonian. So, the very smart thing to do. Oop. Jesus. It said use hero points, okay. Ah, stop it! So, as you can see here, I am a big fan of the idea that you bring everything up to at least 2. Having less than 2, especially for something like this, like a one-shot, that's really gonna hurt you. Because that means you're only keeping 1 die, and that means that you can roll higher than a 10. It's possible. I haven't gotten to mechanics yet, but dice in this game do what we call explode, which means that if you roll a 10 under the right circumstances, you roll it again, and you just keep adding. You can roll a 10, boom, roll a 5, you got your 15. But it's much better to be rolling 2 dice when you're trying to get to 15. At least that's my opinion. Now the biggest question is, what other traits is our Avalonian going to have? Because I am also a fan of the idea that you should always start with at least 1 rank of 3. And because these are slightly better than starting characters, Jedi! Good to have you. Happy birthday to you! Trust me, turning 40 is no big deal. You just realize how much more awesome you are. Alright, so. Harper, anyone else in the chat? I'm inclined to give our director some panache. Make him a little bit more stylish. Give him that little je ne sais quoi. that one might have. Either that or wits. I feel like he or she. I say he. I'm defaulting to he. Obviously, the character can be he or she when my player actually grabs it. I'm gonna. Good. Good. Is your birthday actually today? Because my sister's birthday is also today, which is pretty cool. She's also turning 40. Um, so I am walking through a little bit of some character creation for my 7th Sea campaign. I'm running a tabletop RPG at DragonCon this year on behalf of the theater group, and I'm doing, excuse me, a 7th Sea game in the 7th Sea system, the Roll and Keep system, first edition, based around Hamlet. So, well, still belated happy birthday then. Not quite as awesome as my sister who has her birthday today, but you know, it's close enough. So yeah, I'm just kind of basically going through building the character of the director for the troupe that will be playing in this one shot. And kind of going over some of the rules for anyone who wants to know a little bit about 7th Sea First Edition. Um, that is fair. That is very, very fair, Harper. I was leaning towards panache as well. So you can see that's already taken up an awful lot of points there. We still have got 70 points remaining, but that's fine. That's fine. All right, that's pretty awesome. Oh my gosh, I have a friend. She is the single whitest woman I've ever known in my entire life, and she loves to sing Baby Got Back at karaoke, and it is magnificent. There's really no other way to put it. All right, so like I said, I've made some notes of what to do there. So next thing you're gonna want to look at is, what is this? Okay, so noble is already on there as an advantage. Because yes, I chose noble because I'm going to be taking sorcery, which is going to be the first advantage. So let's go back to look. Nope. Look. Yeah, so let's get through to our advantages. I'm gonna go back to the table of contents. It's taking me forever to find things in this damn thing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Advantages start on 62. So things like advantages are other things that you want to choose before you get into your skills. Because, again, those can help you decide certain things. Let's get to the Avalonian accent real quick, because we didn't... Nope, that's all. Those are skills. Where's my advantages? There we go. Where is it? Avalonian accent. Okay, so Avalon only. That doesn't pick, and that may not be all that important for this particular game, but I'm gonna throw it on there. This stupid thing. Hold on. Actually, I select accent. What kind? Okay. There's a spot for the accent. Never mind. I'm gonna make them give them an Innis accent, since they seem to be a little bit more chi-based. What is it? What are you actually calling it? I-N-I-S. Yes, I-N-I-S. I don't understand. Select accent. I-N-I-S. Highland in there for a moment. Alright. The stupid spreadsheet's broken. Alright. I will Avalon accent. Okay, so that's what it's called. Okay. That's fine. So I was able to put Avalon in there just so that I know that I have it. Alright, so advantages are all kinds of things that also cost hero points, but they can give you additional skills, they can give you knacks that you normally wouldn't have. Said this one is ambidextrous because fighting with your offhand does happen at a disadvantage. Androgynous, which is always a fun one if you're playing a spy. The Montaigne, the Franche apparently are a little extra androgynous. But you can see there are certain things that, based on the flavor of the country you are from, sorcery under advantage. Hold on, let me take a look here and see if sorcery. I am going to come. I'm just going to do this one real quick. Eisen, the German area, doesn't have sorcery, so instead they have Draconeisen, which is basically the settings version of Mithril, and it's fun. Also, the one of the weapons that is part of the Eisen tradition is the Panzer hand, which is basically a big ol' punchy fist. It's basically a big old glove that you just slam into someone's face. It's more than just a gauntlet. It's a gauntlet with style. And our the Eisen guy that I built to be the stagehand does have a Panzer hand. He doesn't have a Draconeisen Panzer hand, but he does have a Panzer hand because I could not give him a Panzer hand. So I am going to grab sorcery before I do anything else, because sorcery is such a huge points investment. These are social clubs. Miracle Worker. Montaigne accent. So I did play through once. I did GM a very long-running game that included the settings version of the okay, I guess sorcery must be somewhere else. Let me find that then. This version's what the settings version of the French Revolution. That was fun. That was fun. Step 1, sorcerer. Okay, so they're even saying that should be step 1. If we're gonna do it, make it step 1. Read the notes. Parlor for advantage. Okay. Our hero is going to be a half-blooded sorcerer. I'm going to throw that into their sheet. Nope, that's not where I put sorcery, apparently. Where do I put sorcery? Maybe this wasn't so great. The sheet is confusing. It doesn't have a place for me to put my sorcery. So it's not an advantage. Where do you want me to put it? Where do you want me to put it? Swordsman School. Swordsman School. I've got so many places with skills and swordsman schools. Okay, yeah, no, this sheet sucks. I found it right before. It looked cool, but I guess it doesn't. It's not good. Magic, yes. What am I supposed to do? Glamour. Did you not spell glamour right? See, that's annoying because that is 20 points that I need to take off here, and I'm not seeing anything. All right. Diluted blood sorcery. I'm not familiar with diluted blood sorcery. Where is the sorcery section? Give me 1 second. The actual sorcery section. So, sorcery in this game is very, very much based on your background, as in what country you come from, because sorcery. Okay, there we go. 136. Sorcery is all about bloodlines, and I'm gonna let the book tell you what glamour does. 136. Ah, here we are. Save. Glamour. Restrictions, Avalon only, or at the very least, you have to have some Avalonian blood. And that is something you have to buy to be of more than one nationality, because it does give you advantages. In the land of Avalon, the legends of the people come to life. Avalonian sorcerers harness the energy of people's belief and channel it to perform miraculous feats of strength, guile, or skill. It is known as glamour. I did spell it right. Give me 1 second to try it one more time. Give it me. It doesn't. I'm supposed to put sorcery. Give me one more moment to see if I can figure out where I'm supposed to put sorcery. If there's like a special spot to put it. Thistledown. We tried. Oh, this is Necrobob's old. Oh, man, it's been years. Sorcery. Let me pull this out and see if there's something I'm missing. Sorry, guys. I feel like putting sorcerer on this is like one of the most basic things you can do, and I don't understand. Okay, yeah, so if I put Rogers into Swordsman School, and I know you can't see this right now, if I put the name of the Swordsman School in there, it has no problem recognizing it. What is the other one? It's not recognizing any of the Maybe it just wants me to put... Let's take a look here. Okay. Okay. It's taught to the Avalonians by the Shi, who gave them a magical artifact known as the Grail. If the Grail will be lost, the sorcerers will lose their power until it is returned. So it's like, it's Arthur, it's Queen Elizabeth, it's this whole, like, we just really love a whole bunch of really cool things in England's history, and we're just going to slam them all together. Slam. So, as a half-blood, the most that they can get, the highest they can get, is the apprentice degree, the blessing of renown. And what I would want, what I need to do here, like, hold on. Do I put the name of the knack in there? I had already decided, especially since we decided to go with Nash, that Jeremiah Barrick was going to be his sorcerer's knack. Let me see if... What happens if I put the green man in there? Nope, none of that's working. All right, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to put this all together later. So basically, Glamour is based on legends. And how much, I don't know, do I put the Blessing of Renown? No, nothing works. I don't know why just putting Glamour in there is not working. Okay, so, it says, there are 3 levels of sorcery: full blood, diluted blood, half-blood. In full blood, you must choose only 1 sorcerer's heritage. You may purchase half-blooded and 2 heritage. These heroes are known as twice-blooded, which means you get 2 separate sorceries, but then neither of them are particularly strong. And then there's diluted blood, which I think diluted blood is a house rule made for this particular guide to allow people to get to journeyman, because in theory, half-bloods can only ever get to apprentice degree. They can never actually make it to adept degree, which is not something I love. I have also made my own house rules on that, where adept degree is actually when you get a certain level of sorcery, a level below what it's actually supposed to be, but then to get to mastery, you do need to like max out everything. So you get a little bit more power a little bit earlier on, which I think is more fun, especially when you're spending that much on an ability. Let's say you've got here you've got the Blessing of Renown, the sorcerer's knack in this case that we're going to be choosing, because she only gets 1 sorceress. Yep. You get 2 benefits. Okay, you can use the apprentice degree of any of the legend knacks by spending a drama die. no problem. And hopefully I won't be screaming at the, swearing at this thing. Yeah, so basically we're going to be using Jeremiah Barrick for our thing. But have a really good night, Harper. Appreciate you as always. So we're going to be using Barrick is an interesting one because most of these are true legends in the world of 7th. Jeremiah Barrick is actually just a really lucky guy who is a living legend, and the Shi have just fallen in love with him and have created magic surrounding him. He has incredible luck. So that also seems to really fall in with our way too beautiful, very reckless hero who doesn't know what to do with his or herself most of the time. One of the reasons this company probably gets in a lot of trouble. All right. So I need to note on this sheet though that we are down 20 points. I don't know what to do here. This thing is driving me nuts. Okay. I'm just gonna keep on noting things. All right, so we now have 50 points left, and we're gonna look at some advantages. And I forget what page advantages we're on, so let's find that out again. 62. So yeah, now we're gonna be thinking, okay, what kind of advantage does an Avalonian director of a theater troupe need? What will make it more fun? You don't need advantages. The trick with advantages is to make things that much more fun. And like I said, I am giving some people, since it's a one shot, I'm giving freebie things to people. So like I'm not making people buy languages. Everyone's going to be able to speak Vendel in their home tongue. Maybe some Pigden or broken Avalonian. Now you know this character's not getting able drinker. For those who may have missed it, when we first started, this character already has the appearance advantage, so I'm not putting it on the sheet. They are above average. They got that in their destiny spread. Arthritis, astrologer is not going to be good. They already have an Avalonian accent. Barterer, berserk, they don't need that. Beginning swordsman, nope. Bodyguard, bought weapon, brilliant. No, not that smart. Oh, and there's invention rules anyway. That's going to go for a different character. You do not have a Castilian blade. Cast iron stomach, citation, Castilian education. Nope. I'm sorry, and I will focus in on some things when I think that they're a little bit more interesting. Cold climate conditioning, combat reflexes. This is not a combat character. Connection. As many connections as you have ranks in panache. I feel like this character should have a connection. I'm going to give this character a connection. I'm not sure what it will be yet, but it will be a connection. chart that's looking at. Apparently, I'm not allowed to put anything in this spreadsheet that I actually want to have. Connection. The connection, ally, confidant, or informant. Connection confident seems like the right one to do. Let's see if I can get this in the gosh darn spreadsheet. Let's take commission. Something is broken here. Is that where I put glamour? No, where do I? I hate this thing. It sucks. Alright. Sorry, you're all not seeing the ridiculous spreadsheet I'm trying to use that's not letting me actually do anything that I want to do. Not dangerous beauty. We don't need eagle hives, dragos, dual nationality. Nope. Mason bodyguard, no extended valley. I think this character needs to be a foul weather jack. Okay, that one actually finally worked. Gosh darn it. Alright, so that's a foul weather jack. So whether you like it or not, excitement has a way of finding you. Princesses come to you seeking a rescuer, and old girlfriends turn up after years, only to be involved in plans to take over the world with your best friend. Never let it be said you lead a boring life. Or, for example, a man who believes that his uncle married his mother after murdering his father, because his father's ghost came back and told him so. I mean, that seems like a foul weather jack thing to happen. All right. You're not having a glamour imbued weapon. He's not a governor. He is not hook-handed. He is not handy or a hemophiliac. Elite savant. This person is a noble, so maybe an inheritance would be good. So let's do a 2-point inheritance. So we're going to do a 2-point inheritance. Okay, that actually worked. Inheritance level. I don't understand what it is you want me to do here. Inheritance level 2. Doesn't match the data. Oh, I've got to select 1,000. Okay, so that automatically gave me 2.2. Okay. Okay, that's still not where that's supposed to go. Okay, that's supposed to be the source of this. Okay. So, additional languages. We're not going to do any languages that you can't be foul weather Jack and Lucky. That doesn't make any sense. They don't need a legendary trait. Linguist. Nah, we don't need that for this. And will we don't need. Membership we don't need. Elaine's Knight. No, this guy's too much of a scoundrel to be a member of Elaine's Knights. Not a member of the Merchants Guild. Not a Lord's Hand. Not a Musketeer. Not a member of a secret society. Let's see, maybe a social club. A social club seems as though... social clubs appear to be... Nope. Nope. I feel like the character needs to have would want to have what? Swordsman's Guild. Swordsman's Guild. Oh, probably not under Swordsman's Guild. What is the advantage called? The advantage is called Social Club. Club. Social Club. I don't know. Give a note to myself that I need to add a social club. Alright, so we've got the Social Club, Swordsman's Guild. Because definitely not good fellows married men. We do not have a merchant patron. That would be a way to get out of the problem that we have at the beginning of the story. We are not doing any form of land management. We are not knight trained. So I thought noble costs less. Make another note to myself. Noble should only cost me 5 because I'm taking sorcery. Honestly, leaving hands doesn't help. No old name, not ordained. No parlor trick. No patron. I want to give this character a pirate trick. I once again don't understand how these are very notable abilities, but alright, once again I'm gonna have a pirate trick. You do not need a puzzle sword. One of the characters might have a puzzle sword, but not this one. Bookin, no roving dawn, no rune weapon, no scaravese, no scoundrel. Showmanship. Yeah, this character needs showmanship. Not that directors necessarily need to have showmanship, but I feel like this character needs to have showmanship. No showmanship. go ahead and see if I can actually put it on the sheet. Oh, good, that actually worked. She ally, she blood. Nope, 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 nope. Person is not she-blooded. They do not have a she weapon. Okay, I don't think we've got anything else here that we're looking interested in for the director. Which then, of course, means that we can now move on to skills. So skills in 7th come to two different kinds. There are the martial skills, which are your fighting skills, and your civil skills, which are everything that is not fighting. So we're going to do the martial skills real quick first, because this character is going to obviously need to be able to fight at some point. I don't feel as though they are a particularly well-trained fighter, but we're gonna give him something. Haven't decided what yet. So martial skills. This is someone who has definitely, based on some of the stuff that we've pulled together, they've gotten by on their looks a little bit, and they probably don't get into fights very often. So martial skills are your physical skills. This character is not going to be an archer. This character is not an athlete. Oh, I should probably go through and talk about how skills are bought. So skills themselves are fairly cheap. And so you have, say, I'll go ahead and use athlete since this is all in place. You have athlete, which is your martial skill. And underneath that skill are your nats. Those are all the things that athlete allows you to do at the most basic level. And what you do is okay, let me see if the sheet actually shows you this. No, actually, let me find one that I'm actually going to use, because that'll be best for. I think they're blunt weapon person. I think this person is a dirty fighter. Yeah. Yeah, this doesn't know how to fight with a knife. All they do is that they dirty fight. This person's a dirty fighter. I should give... There are moments where you have to kind of sometimes metagame a bit. If they're just a dirty fighter, they don't have any basic abilities to... they have almost no skills to avoid attacks. So yeah, we're going to give them one level of athlete. So they're an athlete, but they're not a good athlete. So let's go here let me switch to my sheet. I hope that this all works correctly, because so many things were not. Swords in school, skill. Okay, so we've got a skill here. Let's see what happens when I put an athlete. Okay, cool. So this actually did what it was supposed to do. For a change. So, this skill costs us 2 points just to have it. When we get that skill, we get 1 rank in climbing, footwork, sprinting, and throwing. These are now all considered to be trained knacks. So, say that I was trying to climb something, and I go, GM, give me a target number for climbing that tree over there. GM comes back and says, well, it's not the easiest tree to climb, but it's not the hardest to climb either. Uh, that's going to be a target number 10, roll climbing. I would take my brawn dice, because this is a strength check, and I would take my climbing die. I would have a total of 3 dice. Once again, just kind of going over again how the roll and keep system works. 2 brawn, 1 climbing. That gives me my pool of 3 dice. I roll my dice, and I'm trying to hit the number 10. Now, doing that on 3 dice is not terrible. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to take a look at my 3 dice, and I'm going to throw away the lowest one because I only get to keep 2. I get to roll 3 because I have a dice pool of 3, 2 brawn, 1 climbing, but I only get to keep 2, the 2 because I only have a 2 in brawn. So my overall dice pool is made larger by my knacks, but I still only get to keep the number of dice for my trait. But that's really cool because let's say that I roll on my dice, I roll 5, 5, and 2. Well, I get to keep those 2 5s. Because I am trained in it, say that I roll a 10, 1, and a 1. Well, I've already made it. But that 10, because I'm trained in this, explodes. I get to roll that 10 again, let's say I get a final number of 17. Well, not only did I climb that tree, I look really, 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 really cool climbing that tree. And I can describe how I look cool climbing that tree. The GM can listen to it. If they like my flavor text, they can give me a drama die. Those are opportunities to do really, really cool things. But like I said, that is the basics of roll and keep. You roll your trait plus your knack and only keep your trait. Now, why would I want to continue to buy up my knacks? Buying up knacks is significantly cheaper point-wise than buying up traits. That includes experience, that includes basic and advanced knacks. Traits are really, really, really expensive. So knacks give you a way to increase your dice pool, increase that likelihood you're going to roll that 10 and be able to explode those dice and get higher numbers that way than having to buy up your ranks in a trait. So I'm going to leave climbing here. I'm going to give 2 more to footwork. Let's say that our director has at least done a little bit of fancy footwork here and there. They don't have any advanced knacks. No, this person is not a roller, swimmer, swinging, sidestepper, long distance runner. None of that. Footwork will also be, of this rank of 3, will also be the base defense. Once again, I'm trying to be nice to my players. This gives my player a passive defense when they're holding nothing, when they're not restrained, when there's no other things, nothing else involved. Their passive defense is going to be a target number of 15. So other than that, my other martial knack that I'm going to give this character is going to be dirty fighting. I don't think that this is a person who's trained in fighting at all. I do think they get the occasional nice hits, so I'm going to give them attack improvised weapon and parry improvised weapon. But let's see here. So dirty fighting is exactly what it sounds like. You have only one the only ability there is attack dirty fighting. You're punching around. You don't know what you're doing. You're just trying to hit somebody with your fisty fists. You're rolling only you're really just doing some brawn. You're not getting any extra unkept dice, which is unlike pugilism, where pugilism will give you because you're fancy fighting baby. That gives you a few extra dice to roll when you're rolling. I'm gonna give them a rank in improvised weapon and a rank in oh no. I'll rank in parry, improvised weapon. I'll rank in throw, improvised weapon, because I think that's hilarious. And a rank in throat strike. So this is going to be a fairly expensive buy for our character. Ooh, yeah. All right, we do not have a lot of points left, but once again, I am going to pretend that these characters are a little bit more powerful at the end. So, throat strike is one of my favorites. It is the one that I took when I was playing a doctor character. Using this knack, you strike your opponent squarely across the throat. You declare that you are making a throat strike and roll to attack using this knack. The TN to hit your opponent is increased by 15 when using this knack, but if it is successful and not avoided with an active defense, you inflict an automatic dramatic wound on your target rather than rolling for damage. Throat strike at the right time is the funniest thing. But yeah, so this is this character's fighting skill. Then we're going to do one last thing before we call it for the evening. We're going to go ahead and take a look at our civil skills. Civil skills, of course, is where a performer is going to shine. Your civil skills are... forgot that footwork can be under civil skills too. So maybe I will get away from the athlete and give him a couple of points back. But I don't know. I'll think about it. This character is not an acrobat. This character doesn't perform. They think about performing a lot. So, but what about panache? We have a 3 in panache. Hi, Bay Air Examiner. Happy to have you. Yeah, I was wondering if that was you, or if someone else was checking me out from that account. That's actually Torchbearer for anyone who comes around here a lot. This character is obviously going to be a bard. They have to be. It is deeply required that they be. That's right, there's no secrets around here. We'll do another history, oratory. Singing can be fine. She-lore and diplomacy. And riddles. I'm going to do a lot of 1 ranks and things. As part of the, oh, you really should have some more abilities. Because you're not entirely a complete. Riddles. This is not. She is not a. She is not a courtesan or courtier. I think that's one of the reasons. Or I'm not sure how we say that. Hey, Torchbearer. Glad to have you back for reals. And thank you for the sub. I hate that my alerts are still not working. I thought I had fixed them. Every time I think I fixed them and I test them, they work, and then they don't work. Hi, boo. I'm once again appreciating your being producer of my channel. This is one of the many. This is the adventure playlist from Soundstripe. Engineer, explore, fence. Now, these are not things that this character is good at. This character is gonna have. I'm trying to see if there's anything else besides performance that this character needs, but I'm gonna guess no. Oh, cool! I can get an additional. Make sure. So performer, dancing, oratory, so I can take back a point in oratory. Because they'll naturally get that with performer. There we go. So we're getting some singing and maybe we're not the best at dancing. But we're, even though I might argue that dancing could be this character's version of footwork. Yeah, so, oh, I keep forgetting to switch back and forth. So yeah, we're looking here now at these civil knacks. We've gotten to the big one for this character, which of course is performer. Performers make their living by making crowds of people laugh, cry, and cheer. Acting, of course, is going to be a good one. Dancing is the basic knack. Oratory is a basic knack, and singing is a basic knack. I don't think that this particular character is good at, has any need for any of the advanced knacks. That's right. Sponsorship, please. I use Soundstripe all the time when I'm not doing like actual video game stuff. They're always my background. So I think I've got the basics of everything I need. The only thing that's driving me nuts now, and I'm not going to worry about gear right now. The only thing that's driving me nuts is how the, I can't get sorcery in here somehow. And that's my remaining 24 points, and then I'm going to bump up everything a little bit. Because, like I said, these are not meant to necessarily be starting characters. Yeah. So yes, if everything was going well, I would still have 4 points after putting in half-blood sorcery for being a glamour mage. I'd probably buy an additional rank of Jeremiah Barrack, which would leave me 1 point, and then I would have another point, which I would probably throw in a basic knack somewhere down here, like I don't know, maybe make him a little bit better at dirty fighting. I don't know, or history. So yeah, so. Make them better at etiquette. I'm saying that they were a noble, though. No, I need to get I need to get 5 points back because I'm a noble with I have sorcery, so that should have knocked my noble points down. So I do have a few points left. Is my point at the end of the day. And then I would take this character and I would bump him up by a few more points just to. Save there. Just to be someone who's been through a few adventures, not too many, and that's one of the good things about progression. I know we haven't gotten to a lot of the mechanics in this, and maybe if I can talk some people like the Torchbearer and some other folks over, we can actually play a game, and people can see what 7C First Edition looks like. It's one of those things that, yes, you're going to have a lot of rules thrown at you in a situation like this. But it is, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's a lot of fun to watch with people who are actors and fun and dramatic and a little bit crazy, and try to argue with the GM that, yes, dancing in this case should be used as my active defense. because I am on stage and I am tapping. Uh, and that's the type of thing that I love as a GM, and that's one of the reasons that I love this system, is that I'm totally fine with people making arguments like that. Like, the rules are there to help give everybody a guide. But if you can make the argument that, hey, I'm in the middle of doing ballet on stage and someone is actively trying to stab me during this performance because they're not part of the show and I'm trying to dance around them, absolutely your dancing skill should be your passive defense or your active defense at that moment in time. If you are continuing to pirouette around them, that's a no-brainer to me. But I would also still accept your normal footwork if you didn't know how or you didn't have something else. That's it. I love this game. I love how it encourages people to be creative and to think outside the box as opposed to being a slave to rules. Um, I will be rules lawyered in this game because I don't want anyone to ever feel as though they're being treated unfairly. And if there is a clear rules as written, I will always do that, even if I don't think that that is the most fun or dramatic thing to do in that circumstance. Um, but I would always rather someone find the creative solution or make me feel as though you're doing something creative as opposed like even if you're doing rules as written, make it creative. Like I said, you're gonna you're gonna roll a 17 on a or if you roll a 25 on climbing that tree. Tell me about how you climbed that tree and like you were some kind of spider monkey and you leapt from tree to branch to branch and waved to the children and had them giggle at you and all this other kind of stuff. That's the stuff that gets you drama dice. Rolling gets you successes. Description gets you drama dice. And then drama dice help you get more successes later on. When we're in the middle of something like combat, and combat is a little bit more rules is written because, stabbing is gonna happen. And when you when the stabby happens and the improvised weapon chair gets thrown at you, there needs to be rules there to determine who is winning at combat. There needs to be rules somewhere to say whether or not someone succeeded at a bluff check. Um, but you can tell me how you're particularly creative at your bluff check. I'm cool with that. All right, everyone. Thank you for letting me babble at you for 2-ish hours. We have pretty much gotten through making this character. This is one of 6 characters. I've made 2 of them so far that will be part of the DragonCon non-campaign RPG, the 7C, the play is the thing, during DragonCon this year on Saturday afternoon from 1 to 4 in the Americas Mart. The other characters that we have the director, we have the stagehand, we have the diva, we'll have the special effects, we'll have um, the other actor who's probably more talented than the diva, but and the diva can be male or female. I don't care. They're the person who thinks that they're the best in the company. And I haven't decided what the 6th is going to be yet. If anyone has any ideas, let me know. We're not going to have. Oh, probably maybe the stage manager. I don't know what the stage manager would do in this particular case. Oh no, the writer. Oh, I was going to do a Shakespeare play without a Shakespeare. We need a writer. We need a writer. So yes, the stagehand has been already done. This was the director. So the diva, the other actor, the mad scientist, the special effects, and the writer. Those will be the 6 characters that will be part of this adventure. How they get there, who's to say? I don't want to give too much away in case anyone who is actually going to be attending the session finds this and watches it. No spoilies. Not beyond what we have so far. But yes, thank you again for letting me babble at you this evening. Friday stream will not be happening because unfortunately at work. Wednesday stream should happen again next week. I haven't decided what I'm doing with that yet. And then I don't know what's going to happen with next Friday stream. That's another one that's going to be a little bit iffy. But yay, my stream didn't crash. I love you all. Thank you all for being here. You're the best. I am a panda with opinions, and in my opinion, you're great.